Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. If you're watching this video, no doubt you are wanting to understand if the FreeWing GO is the wing for you, and that's what we're going to answer in this video. Whether you're going to be getting into it with your paddleboard, maybe your skateboard, your snowboard, or really you're trying to grasp wing foiling for the first time, this wing is definitely a wing you should be looking at in 2022. So we've been using the FreeWing GO for a good 2 months, I would say. Now we've had a 4.5, which is this size here, and we've had a 5.5 as well. And we're also going to be doing a full technique series using these wings as well. So if you're getting into wing foiling, you should definitely check out those videos as well, which will be coming out soon. FreeWing, the brand, are actually a collaboration brand between Airush, who are a very outstanding and long-term kite surf brand, and Starboard, who many of you watching this video will be very aware who they are, but they make stand-up paddleboards in hard paddleboards, inflatable paddleboards, windsurf boards and foils, and to be honest, quite a few other things as well. Now, we have personally already tested quite a few FreeWing wings before. The original FreeWing Air did actually win our best getting started wing in our SUPboarder Pro test, where we put lots of wings head to head, and that wing came out top in that category. So they have already got some good wings under their belt. Now the Air has moved on to the version 2, and this is their newest wing. It's just come out. This is the new FreeWing GO. FreeWing really are trying to get you into the sport at a lower price point, which is a really big thing to note. So straight away, that is why a lot of you are interested in this, because this is a cheaper price point wing. They're available widely around the world. They're all available from shops also, so maybe you could even try one before you even buy one, which is a lot to be said considering some of the cheaper wing manufacturers and brands will only be available online. So what's the idea behind the FreeWing GO? Well, the GO is the go-to wing, hence why the name, to get you into whatever wing discipline you want to be doing. As I said earlier, you could be using this on the land, you could be using this on the water, you could be using it as a recreational sort of SUP add-on accessory, or you could be using it to get into the wing foiling discipline. The GO is the entry-level point for getting you into the sport, but not only does it do entry-level point, it does do a very good intermediate level as well, which we'll speak about in a minute. But FreeWing really want to make a good value price point wing to get you into the sport. And obviously, if you've bought one FreeWing before and you're happy with the performance, the chances are you're going to buy on from there, and as you progress you're going to get a better wing, but it's probably always going to be a FreeWing. So it's a very clever move from FreeWing themselves to do this. But this is definitely worth shouting about when you have a main brand bringing in a very competitive price point, almost a direct sell price point. That's something that needs to be recognised, and really a thumbs up there for FreeWing. Before we go on to what it's like on and off the water, I'm going to answer a question now that a lot of you are just asking right now. I can hear you saying it. Why is it so much cheaper than other wings on the market and from a main brand? Well, we haven't actually got some direct feedback from FreeWing on this, but we're going to give you our thoughts and impressions of why this wing is cheaper than a lot of other wings on the market. It's not to do with build quality, is the first thing I'm going to say. For us, looking at how the stitch work is put together, looking at how just general the machining and how the manufacturing process is put into this wing, we cannot see any problems with quality or dodgy stitch work or things which are coming undone. As I said, we've had these wings for about 2 months now, so we have been giving them a fair going over, and there definitely isn't any points where I would worry or think this was a cheaper price point wing. To be honest, we've got wings in our containers that are twice the price of this, and they are not as good quality as this. So this wing, quality-wise, is standing up to it. As in for the materials themselves, again, there's nothing outstanding that we think that's a cheaper price point material. We're unsure if that's going to last. The window, for instance, we'll talk about that material now. It's an incredible material, very supple. You can crunch it up in a ball, you can pound it, you won't ever get creases in it. And again, we've only had it for a couple months, but I do think this type of window is going to last and going to give you a good long lifespan. You will find that maybe the hard wearing, the Kevlar patches, there isn't so many of these on this type of wing compared to, for instance, the FreeWing Air version 1 and version 2. There is more reinforcing on that type of wing. You'll also note in a minute I'll be talking about the handles. There's more handles on those wings, and also the way you can inflate those air wings. They're a little bit more fancy. They have a single inflation point. And another thing that can make a massive difference to us paying the bill in the end is how clever they are with the actual paneling of the wing. How much wastage of material goes, you know, when you've built the wing, how much is left over, how much cannot be used on other wings. And I do think that Starboard and Airush are very clever with always using a limited amount of material and getting the most out of it. So I do think that's how they're going to be working definitely together on this new FreeWing brand, and definitely with this Go wing. And other little things that make a difference is, like, for instance, the bag is one size for all the wings, and it has like a Velcro tag which you can take off at the front and obviously change the wing size. So that keeps the price down of this wing. And again, it's great for the environment. You're going to make less bags in the first place, and you're going to waste less bags. And also, if you want to trick your friends at the beach, you can pull all his Velcro tags off and mix them all up before he pumps his wing up. Anyway, so that's a few things why this wing potentially is a little bit cheaper. But please don't think this wing is a cheaper made wing and it's going to fall apart in the first 2 weeks, because from what we've been seeing it and using it over the last couple of months, there is nothing wrong with the quality and the workmanship in these wings. So let's talk about what this wing is like to use. Well, first off, comes to inflating it, you've got 2 inflation ports. You've got to pump up the main tube, front leading edge, and then you've got to pump up the main rib. I personally really like having a separate middle tube that I can pump up. Yes, it takes a bit longer to pump up, but when it comes to deflating the wing, it's much, much easier because you have these massive dump valves on each of the main struts and you can get the air out very, very quickly. The inflation pressure of these wings does change for whatever wing you're looking at. This one, the 4.5, has a recommended PSI pressure of 6 PSI, and the 5.5, which we're using, has a recommended pressure of 5 PSI. The actual outline shape of this wing, you'll see it's a very compact wing with a relatively long main strut. Therefore, it's very easy to use and move around. And that's really what this wing is designed for. It's designed to be a very low aspect ratio, so short and fat, but it's going to give you a very balanced and easy wing to use, which is exactly the sort of thing you want when you first get into flying a wing on whatever type of discipline you're after. But definitely having a much shorter wing with less of the wingtips, let's say, touching the water as you're going along, it's going to offer a much better performance if you're not on the foil. So if you're a stand-up paddleboarder and you want to be using this maybe to go across the wind or go downwind, or when the wind comes in you don't want to use your paddle anymore, you could actually have this as an extra accessory to go with your SUP. Now this is, for us, a really big thing. Now we're really interested to take these type of wings and push them further, maybe with some SUP touring, do some proper journeys using these wings when it's windy and using our paddle when it's not windy. And definitely this type of wing at that price point is going to get a lot of people very interested into this. And also if you're using it on land, snowboarding or skateboarding, which is a really great way of getting yourself into the winging discipline safely, and you don't need very much wind, but obviously you do need a bit of space. But if a lot of you have got that sort of space there on the snow or on the concrete, this winging side of the sport is actually really fun using it, and it actually relates very similar to using it on the water. When it comes to using it on the water and getting up on your foil for the first time, which is probably where 60 to 75% of you are going to be looking at getting this wing for, it's going to get you into wing foiling absolutely fine. And to be honest, it's probably going to take you to a fairly confident intermediate level. We could still generate power and pump to get us up onto the foil, and when we're flying on the foil, because it's a nice stable wing, it's not got too much profile here, it's very comfortable and easy to use. When you're going through transitions and jibes, very balanced, easy to use again. It wants to turn around and wants to help you do the maneuver as much as it can. Obviously the bigger wings are going to be harder to use, and the smaller wings are going to be easier to throw around. When you get a little bit more wind in the wing, again, all those transitions become even easier. But definitely there's no massive difference between these wings compared to the other FreeWing Air wings. Very easy and balanced to use for all transitions. The one thing the FreeWing have done with the Go is they've actually dropped the number of handles available on this wing. On the main rib, they've given you 2 large handles, which are exactly in the right place for when you want to use your wing, but there isn't extra handles in the middle and at the front. So maybe some of you are asking the questions, which handle do I use and which one should I go for? You haven't got to worry about those sort of issues. The handles that they give you are the handles that you want to use. The disadvantage to that is, yeah, if you're a more advanced rider, you want to tune your positioning, maybe the extra handles aren't there, but for 90% of the riding, we didn't find the handles an issue. The 4.5 and up have also got the Y handles like a lot of other brands have as well, and you've obviously got your central handle at the front there, which all wings have. The handles are nice and standoff, they're nice and stiff, nice bit of webbing there, comfortable and easy to use, and we haven't found any problems with them over the last couple of months. The windows in the wing are placed up towards the main leading edge, and they're nice and long so you can see out of them. Maybe you're looking at the bottom window to do manoeuvre, or you're tilting your wing down, you're looking out the top window to see if anybody's coming before you go into your jibe. And as I said, the material on this window, I'm not 100% sure what material it is, but it's really, really good, and it's by far the best material window we have seen on any of the wings that we have reviewed so far. Obviously, the bigger your window is, the more it affects how the wing feels in the air and how the wind loads itself up in the actual wing. But by having a thinner base window, you're still going to be able to see out of it, but it's not going to change the profile of the wing also. You can actually get this wing without windows if you select and pre-order one, but for most people, probably you're just going to go for the window one. And there's definitely more of an advantage having the window than not having the window, especially when you're starting off. The wingtips have still got the Kevlar reinforcing, the same as the FreeWing Air wings. As I said, it's not as much, and the trailing edge hasn't got so much of it either. Definitely a really neat and simple feature, and it's such a basic one that so many of the brands overlook. The leash that this wing comes with. This wing actually comes with a waist leash. It's a Dyneema rope, so completely unbreakable. And it's got elastic built inside the Dyneema rope, so it's nice and stretchy. It's a good length, it doesn't get in your way when you're turning around because it's around your waist. It's much easier to use, and we actually find this leash much better than the original Air leash we used to use as well. So this is a really nice move. Comes with a built-in swivel up there so it doesn't get all twisted up. Simple, really, really nice leash. Looking at the sizes of the wings, 2.5 all the way up to 6.5 in meter increments. Most of you are going to be going for the 4.5 or the 5.5, to be honest. Wind range, definitely the 4.5 is going to require a bit more wind, but we were using the 4.5 and the lightest winds is about 12 knots, so not very windy, up to about 27 knots, 30 knots, to be honest. We found that we could hold on to this wing in a lot of wind. And even when it got that windy, the surprising thing with this wing is it still felt very stable. Some other wings we've used, definitely on the cheaper price point side of things, they do tend to get a little bit restless and a bit out of control, but this wing still felt very comfortable in those higher winds. I think that's to do with how the canopy is quite flat here, so there isn't much profile to it. Maybe other wings on the market, they've got much more profile, much more depth back here. It's going to give you a bit more power, but it's going to make it a little bit uncontrollable as it gets windy. So this is a nice balance, this wing, a nice balance between sort of having enough power in light winds to having a good amount of controllability when it gets really windy. Definitely if you're going to be looking at using this a lot more in lighter winds and you're going to be wanting to get up on the foil, you're going to be looking towards the 5.5. It's going to be quite comfortable and around sort of 13 knots, 15 knots, cruising around back and forth. Bear in mind, if you want to be getting this for your SUP, using it off the foil or on the land, on your skateboard, something around the 4.5 is going to be a lot easier than the 5.5 because it's a little bit shorter overall in its wingtip length. So talking about the FreeWing GO compared to the FreeWing Air range of wings, you'll find that there's just little differences that make the Air a better wing. The Air has slightly more Kevlar reinforcing around the wingtips, and as I said, there's more reinforcing around the leading edge. There's more handle placements with the Airs. You've got harness line potential placements you can put on with the Airs. You've got a single inflation point with the Air, so you can pump it up with the main leading edge and it pumps that main tube up as well. And you'll find that the scaled shapes of the Air V2 especially are completely different from the shapes of the GO range. The GO range of wings is pretty much the same shape throughout the whole range, but the Air actually changes shape as it gets smaller and bigger. You'll see that the Air 4 meter is a completely different shape to maybe the Air 7 meter, which is much fatter wing. The Air 6 and 7 are much more similar shape to this actual GO, but the smaller Airs are completely different shape again. So they really are designing those wings for that more performance-minded person, and that's where the GO fits in the beginner, intermediate, and the Air takes over from the intermediate more to the advanced. You could of course still get onto the Air as a beginner. you're still going to find it easy to use, it's still well balanced, but it's got those refinements that are probably more suited for the intermediate advanced rider. Maybe you won't know what they are until you really get to that level when you start using it. Looking at negatives of the FreeWing GO, it's one of those hard reviews that I would love to string off loads of negatives for you, because then it makes it look really balanced and honest, because this review is honest. But to be honest, there isn't a huge amount of negatives for this wing. The negatives that are there are the ones you can see. Obviously you haven't got as many handles as the other wings on the market. There isn't as much reinforcing maybe around the back or the side edges of the wing that some other wings on the market have. And of course, if you're looking for that wing with that more top end performance, maybe you want to catch some more waves in the surf, you want to park your wing, you want to do bigger jumps with your wing, or just travel faster through the air with your wing, there will be more performance wings out there. So if you find those a big negative to this, then yes, look at something like the FreeWing Air V2. But for positives, there are so many on this wing, it is hard to note them in a way that you think I'm not rambling off on a sales pitch. The quality and the workmanship of the stitch work is fantastic. What they've put on the wing and where they've used the certain things like, you know, the safety is really well thought out with a nice leash, well spelt, you know, swivel at the front there. The right amount of handles in the right place, it's well balanced, it's light, it's easy to use, it's good to use on and off the water. The list goes on and on and on. And the price point is incredibly competitive, and I do think a lot of you are going to be looking at the FreeWing GO as an entry-level point to get into wing foiling or land winging or SUP winging, whatever you want to do, and I do honestly think it is a very good buy. So if you have used this wing, then lucky you. If you are going to be getting hold of one of these wings, I don't think you will be disappointed. But please, as this video gets older, let us know your feedback of the FreeWing GO. Tell us if we are completely wrong and you have now broken your window, because I think it's very, very doubtful. And also get your review in the main SUPboarder post below this video, and you'll see there's a full section where you can do your own review. Let us know your feedback, and of course all of that feedback we will pass on to the brands so they can improve into the future. And if you want to find out more about what we think of the FreeWing GO with your SUP, check out the bonus video, which is going to be on SUPboarder Pro, where I'm going to be talking about using the GO and some tips and tricks of how to get the most out of it with your paddleboard. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope it's taught you something. I hope it's given you some understanding if the FreeWing GO is the right wing for you. We've got loads of other wing stuff and SUP stuff coming out on SUPboarder, don't you worry, and we'll see you on another video really soon.